Hello, hello. Live, live, live. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. Just letting some people join because I know on Instagram Live it takes a little bit of time to let people know that we are going live. We can interact, we can engage, we can be together. So excited. So excited. So today is an episode on pivoting and mastering the most important game. The most important game to master in life, whether it's your business you want to be successful at, whether it's your personal life you want to be successful at, it's all the things because we desire so much: love, happiness, adventure, connection, financials, all that we desire in a lifetime, we deserve, or it wouldn't be a desire planted within us, right? So I'm talking about pivoting because pivoting is when we decide what we are doing is no longer what we want. Right? Or maybe it's not what we want, but we want more of it, but we got to do something different to experience more of whatever it is. And this is very personal to every single person. This is why when I work with people in my masterminds and work with people one-on-one, we go deep, we go very, very deep, because that is where our desires are. So it's all an internal mastery. And that is the most important game to master, is self-mastery. And the one thing you can focus on first is to make sure it's the one thing, right? I can't decide for you what your one thing is. Only you can decide for you. Not your children, not your parents, not your spouse, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your best friend, not your sibling, not your aunt, not your uncle, not your grandparent. They might help you activate what that one thing is within you. But I'm saying the one thing because when we look at all of this, self-mastery, healing, grounding, confidence, connection, clarity, joy, motivation, dedication, creation, what else? All the things. There's a pattern involved because all of those things involve an inner game. The inside job. I don't like even use word to job because job sounds like work, but it's a game. We get to have fun. We get to be full on and play big. So this is my specialty as a courage, confidence, success coach and mentor, right? There are times I'm coaching my clients and I'm telling them what to do with strategy, giving them tools in their toolbox. And then there's other times where I'm mentoring them. Mentorship is giving or actually activating with questions. Mentorship is saying, well, instead of me telling you what I think you could or should be doing, how about this? Or have you thought about that? Or what would this mean if? And what do you really want? And how would you need to show up? And what do we need to remove? And what kind of boundaries do we need to set? That's mentorship, right? So I get to be in my zone of genius in both. And I get to also show up as the breakthrough queen. So if you want to break through and self-mastery and healing and confidence and clarity and courage and connection and success and wealth and all the ways and the richnesses of life, you're gonna have to show up as somebody different than what you are today, because who you are today, you're gonna keep getting what you're getting, right? But if we can pivot at any time, and it's a choice to pivot, just like we decide we want something, we don't want something. Sometimes pivots can be based on life circumstances, things happening for us in life, happening to us in life. And other times it's just deciding I don't want to wear the color black anymore. I just like white, or I used to not like green, but now I love wearing green. That's a pivot. That's a style. That's a choice. That's something you're owning as who you are, right? Some of these things are very deep and meaningful and actually impact our lives on a day-to-day basis. And other things are not as monumental or impactful on other people as much as it is on you. So again, it's all an inside job. It's all the inside game, the inner game. That's why you see in my description too, I'm an inner game coach. Like when people are like, well, what do you do? Well, confidence, courage, clarity, the inner game, because it's deeper than the mental, the emotional, than the physical, even though it's all affected by and a reality of the inner game that we choose to play. So coming up very soon, I was going to have this masterclass that was supposed to be next Tuesday. And now I've scratched that. This month has been one hell of a roller coaster. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've been sharing stuff there, and on Facebook as well. I've been sharing stuff there. And I say that because there were things that happened in my life over the past few weeks that I could not have planned for. And so I get to choose now how I show up. I get to choose to move things. I get to choose to go deeper. I get to choose to offer more. And that's what I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks. So F-It, Time to Rise. It's a mastermind mentorship. I'm actually going to be taking either 50 to 70% off this one time. And I'm being strict on that because I like to give discounts and honor those who take intentional, intuitive action. We'll probably start sometime in July, mid-July, end of July. And I'm going to give a lot more detail on that soon. But I just want to let people know now, because this will be the time to start messaging me or DMing me about what it is I'm going to be going over, what it is I'm going to be as far as your investment. And this will be at least a 3-month opportunity to work. This is as close as you can get to working with me one-on-one is in a mastermind, because my masterminds right now are capped anywhere between 15, 20 people, depending on the types of people I'm enrolling. And I cut that line off knowing the people that I'm allowing in, right? And the application process will be a little different this time around. So if you are used to working with me one-on-one or in my masterminds, it's a little different. So just let me know, DM me. Happy to translate all of that over. And I will be going very clear on all the details very, very, very soon. So stay tuned to my stories. Now, I say this because over the next 3 to 6 months, we say F-It, time to rise. When I rise, you rise. When a community rises, we all rise. And when we think about all the things that we want and desire in life, how are we going to rise up to that level to allow that in? Because a lot of times we feel like it's impossible or not an option based on our background, based on our genetics, based on our knowledge. And we limit ourselves and don't even comprehend how the impossible can actually be possible and how limitless we all truly are. That's the inner game. That's the level of awareness, of activation, of integrations, which are all upgrades. Just like when we upgrade our phone, which I was going to grab, but I'm obviously talking on it right now, is we plug in and upgrade the operating system of our phones. The same is for us as humans. We recharge our phones every single night or every other day. Same thing with ourselves. We go to sleep, we take meditation breaks, we do things like that. And then we embody. So it's an activation, integration, embodiment that we do when it comes to the inner game. And it's not hard. It's very simple. What complicates it is what's between our ears. And so what I do based on my experiences, the coaches I've hired, the mentors I've worked with, the courses I've taken, the experiences I've had working with so many different high performers, gurus, thought leaders, businesses, cellular health, high performance, real deep scientific opportunities is now I have so many tools in my toolbox that I use on a regular basis. So if I can do this and my clients can do this, why aren't I sharing it more? Well, why? Because I've been working with corporate a lot lately, and I've totally just finally let go of my last corporate client. It feels so good. I love my history working in the corporate field as a consultant, as a contracting coach to help those big businesses up-level their leadership teams. But I want to help more people at the lower level. I want to help the business owner, the busy mom who is trying to decide, does she continue to work or not? The others who are business owners, like for example, surgeons who fall out of love with their skill sets and want to do something different and completely different sector than what they got their education in, and knowing it's okay to choose different. And owning the courage to do that, owning the confidence and stepping into their power and retiring early, retirement, right? We wait till retirement to do and be and live life a certain way. Why wait? Why wait? And I'm actually going to be bringing in this whole why wait thing. Once I can go live on LinkedIn, it'll be Why Wait Wednesdays. It'll be like an open live chat on what are the things you want to have a breakthrough in, whether it's love, connection, business, financials, all the richnesses and categories of life. Why are you waiting until someday when, or till somebody does whatever, or till that next job, or till you move, or till whatever you're giving your power away to happens, instead of living it sooner and later or now in the moment, right? And ways to do that. So going back to the inner game, because that is the most important game to master, most important game to master in a lifetime, most important game. And you got to get really good at pivoting. Because if you're not comfortable with pivoting, or the uncomfortableness that pivoting brings when you do pivot, when you decide to do something completely different, and how uncomfortable that feels, and how much courage it takes to declare that to your friends, your family, etc., it takes a lot. But as you play in that space more, it won't feel like a lot. It just feels like a natural state of being. I play in that space a lot, using my strengths and my courage to do so. Some people are like, wow, you're just so confident. Yeah, I'm confident in so many spaces of life, but I'm also scared to death to show up on certain things, even lives. Like, am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to mess up and smudge up a word, right? But I show up anyways, because I know in my heart of hearts, not in my head, that I can't mess this up, and that I can't give out the wrong information. There's no right or wrong. There's just activation. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to be. That's what I'm here to provide. And that's what I say. There's no right or wrong. We make ourselves feel so right or wrong. We are meaning making machines, which is why most of us don't choose to pivot, which is why most of us don't choose to master the inner game, which is why most of us do not live out our desires and our truest truth of truths that live within us. We don't live them out. People die with things they still wish they could have experienced. And that is one of the most heartbreaking realities when you read about people sharing their regrets on their deathbed, regretting to live out their truth, their desires versus somebody else's expectations, right? So we are either being or doing, or we're not. Again, we don't need to make it right or wrong, good or bad. So if you're not, and you're stuck, and you're frustrated, and you start to experience boredom or setbacks or plateaus, or life is happening to you and now you're the victim, and we give our power away and thinking we can't choose again, but we do get to choose again. It's our choice to bring awareness to the fact that we get to choose again. But it's bigger than deciding. It's bigger than declaring. It's a conviction of claiming it, owning it, knowing it's possible, even in the time of uncertainty, knowing that by showing up and being and believing, you are becoming even before that experience happens. And this is deep. I need to say this line again. It's claiming with conviction, not just deciding I'm going to be a millionaire one day, or deciding that I'm going to fall in love and become a mom and do all these amazing things and volunteer and give back generously. That's all great. But are you claiming it? Are you feeling it? Are you believing it? Are you knowing it in your heart of hearts? This is who you are becoming and are being right now before any of that even happens. That's the inner game. That's where we get to play. That's where we get to be. This is where, at the end of the day, we hang out a majority of the time, or we don't. And again, don't beat yourself up and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this, or I didn't know this, and I'm 40 years old, and why am I just hearing this for the first time? Or I'm 22 years old and none of this makes sense to me, but it sounds really interesting. So unless you've mastered this game, you could continue to feel like your desires are not meant for you, or you're not good enough, or you missed your time in life. Oh, that can only happen to me if I was in my 30s. Starting a business now, or leaving the job that I've been in for 15 years, like, that seems too scary and unrealistic. Well, you believe that? You're right. You're right. You believe that you can't. You're right. You're right. It frustrates me and it will fire me up, but you're right. You believe that you can. You're right. You may not know how. And that's the best part. Playing in uncertainty of not knowing how means every possibility is possible. That's exciting, not scary. It might trigger some scarcity, some lack, some doubt, some worry, some fear, some major anxiety, but we bring awareness to that and we get to master our inner game, and it doesn't stop us. We don't give we do not give our power away to that. Those low vibe feelings will continue if we allow them to. It's the attention we're bringing to the time we have now. It's the intention of the attention we're bringing to the time that we have now, and now, and now, because what just happened 3 minutes ago, we can't get back. What's happening 5 minutes from now, we can't worry about because we're not there yet. We're only here. Self-mastery is an inside job. Healing is an inside inner game. Grounding inside, confidence inside, connection inside, balance inside, joy, motivation, dedication, creation. Why do we keep getting sucked in to marketing and advertising of things that are outside of us and giving our power away? Why? Because we're culturally accepting of that. So when you are going to pivot, when you want and desire the biggest breakthroughs of all breakthroughs, or just a small glimmer of what a breakthrough feels like for the first time ever, or for the 20th time, because you don't want to burn out again, or you don't want to burn out ever in anything, in any area of life, love. You can burn out in just dating people. It's exhausting until you find the one. You can burn out with trying to have as much adventure in your life. It can be exhausting, and you can burn out there. You could burn out with a career path if you don't master this inner game. You have to draw the line in the sand, own it, declare it, claim it with conviction, and live your truth. Some of us don't even know what our truth is. Some of us have not taken the time to ask ourselves the tough questions to know what your truth is versus my truth. We don't have these conversations. We walk around, hey, how you doing? Fine, good, thank you. Oh yeah, I'm good too. Are you really good? Has your world been rocked? Sometimes it's appropriate to go deep. Sometimes it's not. But who are you to judge? What feels good to you is what's most important. If you want to share with someone, share. This happens to me all the time. I feel like I have a sign on my back or my forehead that says, hey, I'm an empath and I'm a breakthrough queen, and I love to help people get through their problems and solve the biggest, juiciest challenges. Share it with me. Bring it. What you got? What you got? We got this. Because I have strangers and grocery store lines and random places just that dump their guts to me. And I'm just like, whew, because I feel when someone shares, I feel it. And I've had to master my inner game so that I don't carry that into my own world. I don't want what's going on in their world to be a part of my world, but I do want them to break through it and get to the other side, to that next level of success and whatever that means in the richness of life that they desire and deserve. So the first step can seem scary, but it's not the first step that's the hardest. For some, they may think it's the first step, but it's the consistency of the next step and the next step and the next step, and not thinking about the 100th step, but thinking about just the next step, and not wondering or worried about how, trusting that will show up, believing, knowing in your heart, and not being limited by our head. Well, this has never happened to so-and-so. This has never happened to so-and-so, right? And there's so many stories I could share right now on this, but I want to keep this talk kind of succinct, because at the end of the day, your confidence, your faith, once you have mastered those two skills, will allow so much in. But in order to have confidence and faith, you got to have courage first. You got to know how to tap into your courage. And when it seems like you even don't know how you're going to do it that day, you trust. Unwavering trust comes from faith. And you can have everything you desire. Committing to a coach and a mentor to support you through a process like this can only accelerate the process. You can do this on your own. It might take months. It might take years. It might take a decade. It might take a lifetime. It might take another lifetime. Right? Hopefully not. But there are people, I guarantee it will take multiple times before they even get to the first level of any of this. And I have experienced this time and time again, not personally, just in my own journey in life, and have overcome things with the tools in my toolbox for the internal gain, but also my clients. And there are things that seem miraculous that I tell people about, and they're like, oh no, that they were just lucky. And I'm like, it's not luck. It's energetics. It's intentional living. It's the inner game tools in your toolbox that feel freaking good and work. They work, and there's so much science behind it. So if you truly want it, and you start to understand and get crystal clear on what you want, like your deepest desires of what you desire, not just what you want or you think you need, why you want it, the deep feelings, not just the surface of why you want certain things, but why. What will it make it feel like when you fall in love? What will it make it feel like when you're a parent? What will it make it feel like? What will you feel like when you own a business and you're paying your team percentages of the money that's coming in, and they're not just getting a flat $1,000 stipend per month or $5,000 stipend per month or benefits and vacations? They're getting a percentage of the pie. Like, how cool is that? I bring this up because that's actually a thought that came to mind. I'm like, oh, why would I pay a VA? Yes, there's great VAs at very low prices, but I'd rather pay them 10% of whatever I bring in that month, because I know I'm bringing in 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K consistently every single month. How exciting is that? Everybody gets to be excited. Everybody gets to go and show up as their highest, truest version of themselves. That's incentivization. If is that a word? Incentivization? If I've ever heard of it myself. And that is a thought because I have such 2 decades of high ticket sales, incentivized, right? Commission. And I've always been frustrated when it was like a plateau. Well, this is as much as you can make in a month because this is how many hours you have. And this is how many calls you get. And I'm like, screw that. Where's the incentivization? I'm going to use that as a word. I make up words all the time. To impact more, be more, show up more as my true self, as my best self. And when you know what you want, why you want, what's going to be required of you, that can be a tricky part to get to that next level of truth. And again, you're going to need to go deep. You're going to need to connect. You need to have the tools in your toolbox to even know how to connect, to ask those questions, the tough, deep questions, so that when you're asking those questions time and time again, they're no longer tough. They're still deep, but they're not tough. You get excited because you're like, oh, yeah, what if it wasn't this way? What would it be like? What is possible? Oh, that seems impossible. Oh, it seems impossible. It's still possible. Who are we to say it's not? Who are we to make that meaning true? Right? So if you're ready to pivot, if you're ready to say F it to the old paradigms, if you're ready to say F it to the struggle, the grind, and you want to claim next level expansion, I would love to have a conversation with you to jump into the next mastermind that's going to be starting in July, called F It, Time to Rise. And we're going to talk about allowing in, we're talking about expansion, the tools in your toolbox, overflow, all the richnesses in your life. But you got to be ready to commit with conviction. That's claiming it. That is owning it. That is being it even before it happens. So I'm going to go through all the details very soon in stories, so stay tuned to those. But for now, do you understand your inner game? Are you happy with the way life is going? Are there any areas that you feel stuck, frustrated, anxiety, fear, worry, or doubt? Because that doesn't have to be the norm. That doesn't have to be the cycle. Where do we need to pivot? And where can we focus on one thing at a time? If you wanted to jump in and do 5 different areas of your life and pivot, you could be setting yourself up for failure. I'm not talking about goal setting. I'm talking about pivoting real life, tangible experiences, wealth, career, relationship, health, it all. But we got to focus on one area at a time. We got to make that the norm. There are times where I've done 2 or 3 areas, but coming into this fresh and new, one area at a time. Once we get better and we have the tools in our toolbox, you can tackle a couple different things. I'm not here to tell you you can't. I'm just telling you, if you've never done this before at this level before, taking on 3, 4, 5, 10 things, you're going to be like the guy at the circus that's spinning the plates, and he's spinning the plates on all these different sticks. And then you get so focused on one because it's the one major important plate that's spinning, that's keeping you alive, and all the others lose your attention, intentional with your attention, and they start dropping and crashing and breaking, right? Until you master this inner game, it's going to be harder to keep more plates spinning. But it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. So I'm going to leave you with that. Go deep. Ask yourself the tough questions. Where do you want to pivot? Not where do you need to pivot? Where do you want to pivot? Get out of your head, drop into your heart. Where do you want to pivot? What part of your inner game are you missing the tools to master this inner game so that it's automatic and part of your life, so that you're living your truth every freaking day? It's fun. It's exciting. Challenges happen. Life throws you curveballs. You can be literally in your lowest of lows because you got horrible news, which I'm not ready to share yet, but I got horrible news. You've probably seen in my stories of a very dear loved one passing at the age of freaking 3 years old. Devastating, unfathomable news. And yet the lowest of my lows, boogery, messy, teary face, also experiencing highest of highs of my business and my relationships with my clients. It was a mind F-bomb going on that I've never experienced before in the last 5 days because of experiencing the highest of highs, lowest of lows. But my resilience of my inner game allowed me to feel the duality of both and not crumble in business or life, and to be the support system that my dear friends and neighbors needed in this time. That's what I'm talking about, being able to pivot. That's what I'm talking about. The most important game to master is the freaking inner game. And that's what I'm here. This is my purpose, this is my mission. And I appreciate your time and energy today. I'm going to leave you with this. Until next time, I send you so much love, and allow yourself to have an epic day. Don't make it an epic day. Allow yourself to have an epic day. Epic is radical, is beyond your wildest dreams. Even if it's the smallest thing, allow it. Allow it in, allow it in. Where do you have blocks that you no longer want to have blocks? So much love. Bye for now.